Your attitude determines your altitude. Your attitude determines how far you will go in life. Organizations get rid of people with a bad attitude because they are seen as a drain on the organization, as they tend to bring down the morale of other employees. They are considered as a roadblock to the success of the organization. Employees who have a bad attitude tend to be less productive than those with a good attitude. Their bad attitude can be contagious and disruptive to the organization as a whole. From an organization's standpoint, a bad attitude is like a computer virus. Just like a virus bringing down the entire system, the bad attitude of one employee could kill the efficiency of the entire team. During behavioral interviews, employers look for candidates who have the right attitude and mindset to do the job. This is why we often see employers look for young, energetic people with the right attitude and mindsets, though they may not necessarily have the experience and the skills to do the job. Skills can be taught and experience comes with time, but it's very hard to teach an employee to have the right attitude because that's a matter of personal choice. You choose to have a right attitude. This is where the experienced and subject matter experts who've been in the organization for a very long time stand to lose to the inexperienced and young employees. This is why inexperienced and young people often hold coveted positions that other experienced and subject matter experts are unable to attain. The difference lies in their attitude, which comes by choice. Attitude is such a critical factor in life. By choosing to have the right attitude, you position yourself to huge breaks and go beyond the realm of mediocrity to great success in life. You could have many setbacks in life and still choose to have the right attitude. Your attitude and choices go hand in hand. You choose your attitude that determines your thoughts, which produces actions. Every day, you can choose to wake up with a good attitude, one that will fill your mind with pleasant thoughts. Setbacks may arise, but with the right attitude, you can allow these stumbling blocks to have a very minimal effect on you. You can be deprived of great opportunities in life just because of your wrong attitude. Here is a classic example of the correlation between attitude and choice. Your boss gives you an assignment that is beyond your comfort level. What do? You can either refuse it or you can accept it and attempt the project with determination and give it your best shot. What do you think would be more impressive? It really doesn't matter how much you know or how eloquent you are. What matters is your attitude. And this is precisely why you will see a lot of people benefit more from their attitude than from the skills they bring to the table. A good attitude is what distinguishes an employee who exceeds expectations from the one who is merely successful or fails to meet expectations. When the world sees you as worthless and pitiful, you can either choose to get sucked into that thought, or you can tell yourself that there is tremendous potential locked within you and start believing in greater things. You determine your worth, and in so doing, you control your destiny. I remember the time when as consultants we were asked to give a presentation to a small group at a consulting skills workshop. Up until then, every time we had to give a presentation, my friend Nancy would become very nervous. Her hands would become cold and her throat would become so choked that she could hardly speak. It was pathetic to say the least. She struggled with these pathetic episodes for a very long time. Nancy later told me that when she was asked to do this assignment, she felt that she wouldn't be able to perform well. As much as she wanted to overcome her fear, she still avoided every opportunity to present as the thought of going through that anxiety made her sick to her stomach. However, Nancy knew that to be able to take the next step in her career, she would have to learn to overcome her stage fright. On the day of the presentation, she chose to take that first painful step, which she knew would be critical to her success as a consultant. As the time drew near, the paralyzing, agonizing fear began to grip her, but she had made up her mind that this time it would be different. Nancy took a deep breath and reminded herself that there was immense potential and greatness within her, and all she had to do was tap into the power of that potential. She reminded herself that she was meant for bigger things in life. That very moment, she felt stronger and felt the measure of her power within. Nancy by then had overcome her fear. At the end of the presentation, the instructor told her that she was a great presenter. Nancy was thrilled and excited. All it took was a paradigm shift in her thinking, the right attitude and resolve to overcome her anxiety. Often, we miss great opportunities in life and fail to reach our full potential because we choose not to take that first step of faith and move forward. We refuse to take ourselves past the initial pain of crossing the barrier, and we allow complacency and fear to paralyze us into a zone that we begin to call as our comfort zone. To overcome life's barriers and live a life without limits, it is crucial that we choose to have a good attitude. Thanks for watching. This is an excerpt from my book, Choices. Life brings emotional mountaintop experiences as well as deep valleys. But what sustains us through the ups and downs is a good attitude. You can choose to have a good attitude in everything you do, no matter where you are and what you do. A housewife, for example, can choose to have a good attitude and always wear a smile when her husband and children come back home after a long day, despite the fact that she may also be stressed out and exhausted. The same applies to the husband. Despite the stress at work, he can return home with a good attitude and choose to not let his problems at work stop him from spending quality time with his family. As obvious as it is, it's a matter of choice. It is easier said than done. But the thing about life is that it is these careful choices that sets us apart and determines the quality of our life and the lives of those around us. The temptation to surrender to the feelings of despair and frustration can often be overwhelming. But with caution and self-control, we can choose to have the right attitude. While giving in to the temptations may seem easy, the consequences of giving in are costly. Exercising caution and self-control may be difficult initially, but once you prevail over the initial anguish of changing patterns and habits, you will realize the exhilaration of having made the choice to maintain a good attitude. Whether you choose to participate in gossip or to rise above those trivialities is up to you. You can choose to live a life to show off to your neighbors and friends, or you can free yourself of such cares, rising to a higher level of thinking and choosing to live a life that is most fulfilling to you and to those around you. Your choices will be based on your value system, and that will carve out your destiny. You can choose to live in fear and anxiety, or you can choose to walk in the audacity of faith, believing that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Observation of the life of a faithful Christian provides an example of choices made to shape attitudes and create habits that will guide him through trials. In the midst of life's difficult circumstances, a faithful Christian chooses to trust and praise God for the situation that he is in, believing that his Creator has the best plans for him. Over a period of time, this becomes so much of a part of his character that every time he is faced with a tough situation, his subconscious mind prepares him to praise God, and he is able to do so effortlessly. When you choose to have a good attitude in life, it changes the way you view life, people, situations, and every problem you face. When you choose to have a good attitude, there's a shifting that will take place within you. Your focus shifts from negative tendencies and gravitate towards what is right and positive. And your focus will move away from what is irrelevant to what is relevant. Have you ever felt isolated or singled out? Your choice of attitude in this situation will dictate whether you are affected by what people say or think about you and whether it bogs you down. When you're around people who are controlling and dominating, you have the power within you to choose whether or not to let them control your life. You choose whether to be controlled or not. You determine the boundaries. You can choose to draw the line and not let others draw the line for you and confine you to a box. When the world treats you as worthless and pitiful, you can either choose to get sucked into that thought, or you can tell yourself that there is tremendous potential locked within you and start believing in greater things. You determine your worth, and in doing so, you control your destiny. Often we miss great opportunities in life and fail to reach our full potential because we choose not to take that first step of faith and move forward. We refuse to take ourselves past the initial pain of crossing the barrier, and we allow complacency and fear to paralyze us into a zone that we begin to identify as our comfort zone. To overcome life's barriers and to live a life without limits, it is crucial that we choose to have a good attitude. Matter of fact, there's a healing power to a good attitude. When we have a good attitude towards life, it heals us of our wounds, hurt and pain, and it allows us to live a carefree life. It allows us to rise above the disappointments that life throws at us and live each day to its fullest, enabling us to consider the immense possibilities that life has to offer, that each day has to offer, without which life would be wasted in the cares of the world, walking through the wilderness and lost in the confusion and frustration of what we see around us. A good attitude is music for the soul, and it allows us to enjoy this beautiful creation and the beauty of each day as it unfolds. Thanks for watching. This is an excerpt from my book, Choices.